He got burned and turned by the same kind of chicks he was trying to kiss up to. This is what happens.
He got handled.
Yeah, when you actually go out there and act like one of these male feminists, that's why most of these guys wind up in shackles, because that's the only way they actually get a crack at the poon once college ends. Our current stunning and brave, duly elected, most popular president ever might have delivered the coup de grace to the republic, but the first shots were fired by useful idiot vaginuts in sheep's clothing peddling lies and propaganda before our former Kenyan-in-chief made it legal. Take a stand against the tyranny and get yourself a copy of Surviving Fourth Wave Feminism today. A link is in the description. What's up, you mother fornicators? We're still sick, but we're still here. Ride and roast, 2 Richards in a car. I'm Blake, this is Popp. And we got a real good one for you today.
Here we go.
I'll read the headline. You tell me when you hear the lie.
Okay.
Men who label themselves feminists are having more sex than those who are...
Liar!
Lies!
Oh my God, are you serious?
Who honestly expects anyone to believe that?
Are they being serious? Is this like a...
I mean,
is this satire?
I wish it was, but...
Are you serious?
They are honestly expecting people to believe this. I mean, if you're talking about snuggle struggle, then you might be able to make a case for that, because you look up male feminist accused of any sort of impropriety involving that part of a woman's body, you're going to have enough reading material to keep you busy on the crapper for a long time.
For longer than you'll be here on this planet. This is fucking feminist propaganda to try to sway more men to surrender their testicles.
Yep.
And become male feminists.
Oh, you'll totally have more frisky time if you subscribe to our ideology. You get down on your knees and you pledge your allegiance at the altar of vagine.
The vagine!
Whacked out vaginos actually think people are going to believe this.
I love how you said ideology.
New research has found that men who declare themselves as feminists are having more frisky time than those who don't. A study was carried out asking questions about it and personal behaviors.
Also known as a survey.
Survey says...
Suck a dick!
Suck a dick! Men never lie about that though, right?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
You know that's a crime now if you deceive a woman into bed.
Oh, how dare you.
How dare you?
That's the same as rapé.
Yeah, I guess so. You're using her stupidity against her to bend her over and slam one home.
Yeah, because women never lie about that either, right?
No.
They never lie and say that they're on the pill to try to trap you in baby jail for 18 to 21
They
years.
show up, you go to their house, and they got a bump and grind station for their face. Okay, they got push-up bras and Spanx and fake asses and tits.
And a basket that lowers from the ceiling in the bedroom.
You're not putting those heffalos in a basket. You're risking your life.
You've really wandered into the amphibious lair of a lounge lizard when there's a glory hole in her personal bathroom at home.
Oh my God! That's insane. If I ever went to a chick's house and I saw that, I would pull out my camera and instantly film it, because that's comedy gold.
That is a comedy skit waiting to happen.
It is. Oh my God, that's so funny.
You go in there, you kick back to the camera, you get ready to take a piss, all of a sudden, a shadow moves along the wall, looks like the Loch Ness Monster, you're like, ah!
Hey, honey, you want to take care of this monster for me or what?
There is no way I can picture that as a girl.
More and more men have been declaring themselves as feminists lately. This includes a host of celebs such as Harry Styles, John Legend, Chris Hemsworth, and Will Smith.
Oh my God, they're all super cocks.
They're doing this for branding purposes. They don't actually care.
Well, Will Smith did cuck out when his wife said she was banging her son's friend.
Yeah, well, it's because they had to have that conversation on camera. If they didn't have that conversation on camera, I guarantee you that it would have gone something more like this.
Fuck you and all your motherfucking friends, nigga!
Sorry, declaring yourself a feminist What does that actually risk for you? Oh, that's right, nothing.
Nothing.
Just like these people who constantly lecture about climate change on social media. Meanwhile, they're flying their private jets all over the world, taking yachts everywhere, or they have a mansion in Tennessee that uses more electricity than 20 houses.
How dare you?
Oh, like those feminists, men,
Allegedly.
they're weak. Statistically speaking, the socialists are weak.
And I
Yep.
guarantee you, just because these are celebrities, they don't actually believe this. They have more money than God. They've never had to worry about whether or not they're going to get laid, because all they have to do is walk into a room, ask any 5 chicks, all of them will say yes.
Well, you know what? That probably is a perk of being famous. Is
Yes.
You can pull pussy easily.
But you better have a coitus consent form.
Yeah, on our site, you download it, print it up, have it handy.
Ugh.
Could save your ass, literally.
A male feminist is defined as a man who seeks to establish equal opportunities for women in a range of social relations, generally done through a strategic leveraging of male privilege.
Now, for some reason, these feminists believe because, men they're faster, stronger, have more endurance, and shit that was just given to them by God, that somehow that's a privilege.
That's not even what they allude to when they talk about male privilege. When they bring it up and they talk about the different male privileges you have, they're not privileges at all.
No.
What they think of as male privilege is just reality. And most of the so-called male privileges are things that we go out of our way to work for and earn. So, suck a dick!
Like, men, we walk around, we really don't have a lot of fear like we're going to be attacked, even though
We are statistically far more likely to be.
get, beat down and killed. But still, fuck it. I'll walk home down a dark alley. Fucking walk through Detroit before. What the hell?
And it cracks me up too, because, you just go through this sentence and every single part of it is a lie. Defined as a man who seeks to establish equal opportunities for women that they already have. In fact, they have more rights than men in the West. In a range of social relations, who gives a shit, generally done through a strategic leveraging of something that doesn't exist.
Correct.
So, done?
Stupid! You're so stupid!
And according to new research, these feminist men are having more frisky time than those who aren't.
Bullshit!
I'm sorry.
Didn't happen then, doesn't happen now.
Now, am I saying that they don't get to bag some of these chicks? They probably do.
But when you look at some of these chicks, are they the kind of people that you're really going to go around bragging about?
Why didn't anybody tell me?
That's like, oh yeah, I got to go out and bang Lizzo the other night. Huh? And you're still alive?
Yeah, if your hair looks like some kind of pink cotton candy, and you have a face full of hardware and 2 sleeves of tattoos.
If you have all the biological red flags of a poisonous tree frog in the South American rainforest,
Yeah, that's nothing to write home about.
no.
I've turned away a lot of women that are, tore up like that. I'm like, no.
Yeah, no. Like, oh, okay, so you're one of those, which means I'm taking my life and putting it in your hands just by being in the room alone with you, let alone anything else.
Well, and here's another thing that you always get, like, when you date feminist women, is they always fucking are lecturing you.
Are you gonna, leave the 22% tip because after all, you make more than me?
Yeah, it's because I earn it.
More bumps.
Considering all of the BS that we deal with on a regular basis, people bringing us beef in the comments saying they don't know what we're talking about or whatever, and the people who actually do come back after we provide receipts, one of their first orders of attack, without providing any real, evidence to the contrary or any, opinion of consequence, is always, well, you got to consider the source, right?
They always pull that
Always.
shit.
A study was carried out in Canada,
Oh my God!
asking questions not only about schmexuality, but also about personal behaviors, history, and political and social values.
Canada is not really well known for its masculine leadership.
First of all, I'm going to keep saying loud and clearly that I am a feminist.
You serious?
Castro's love child.
Castro's love child,
Runs that place.
The demon spawn of the...
I want to know when those 2 provinces in Canada are going to say, fuck you, and we're out.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks.
It's the same shit's gonna happen here in America.
Just because of where this study was held, everything about it is suspect, because this is the kind of thing where you put some researchers in with a group of people and you say, this is the result I want. Figure out how to ask these questions in such a way where this is going to be that result.
Let's pretend that's not true. Yeah.
A successful 30-something bachelor, Nick Tyrella loves the joys and freedoms of being marriage-free, child-free, and obligation-limited. With all of his friends retiring to suburbia and having scorched through most of the young Wahmen in his hometown, Nick decides it's time to go back to college as a mature student for the youthful parties, the drugs, and of course the hot women. But in order to stay enrolled, he must maintain a standard GPA and do the bare minimum to avoid academic probation. Good luck with that, Nick. Pick up your copy of Burning the Midnight right away by clicking on the link in the description.
The survey found that about 22% of men actually identified as feminist.
22% of all men?
22%.
Bullshit!
They don't really care.
That's right.
They think it's going to get them laid, and then they're probably still laboring under the delusion that at some point it's going to. Please touch it. It's been so long.
That's so fucked up.
Oh my God.
It's true, though. It's true. I'm sure there's a lot of these male feminists that get to hit some of that shit when these ladies, want to get a piece of action. And
yeah, they want to be one of the polyamory tribe.
That's insane right there. If you're a dude and you agree to that shit...
I mean, seriously, you remember that story about the chick who got pregnant and she has 5 boyfriends and they all agree to hang around and father the child? These dudes who identify as feminist, and maybe they'll get a crack at the poon from that chick once a week.
You know what? You need to just take your man card out of your wallet.
That is manhood by shameful default and nothing else.
That's right, because it has the same value as the prize in a Cracker Jack box. It's nothing. Like when I was taking that class in editing at OCC, I was walking through the campus.
Uh-oh.
And, they always have those, there's that one big building you go in and they have all the tables set up and all the groups or whatever doing their thing.
Yeah.
Almost 40% of them had something to do with some kind of social justice and
of course
feminist bullshit.
You were balls deep in brainwashing central.
I know. Literally, I'm walking through there and they're trying to hand me this literature. I'm like, go fuck yourself.
The real world doesn't give a shit about any of this stuff, and none of this even exists.
That's right.
These are not problems.
Baby sissies.
Around 60% of men said they were not feminist, and approximately 18% were not sure. As with feminist women in previous studies, feminist men were more likely to have higher levels of education. So it was more of that blaming and shaming language. See, if you're a feminist man, you're gonna have sex more. If you're a feminist man, that means you have a higher education. Never mind the fact that it's all just indoctrination and bullshit.
Yeah.
You're not being taught anything.
No.
You're being molded into a useful idiot for the globalist corporate state. That's it.
See, educated doesn't mean intelligent.
No. They have no common sense. They don't know a lick about the real world because they've spent all of their adult years being educated by people who literally cannot do anything else but teach their major.
Yep. And you know what? And here's the funny part. I go to counseling every once in a while for PTSD, right?
Yeah.
And 80% of the people I sit down with have no fucking idea how the real world works.
Of course not.
They can't understand, why that shit is happening to you. They give you these book smart answers, but they don't fucking know. They're absolutely worthless.
They're clueless.
And a lot of times they'll sit down and 15 minutes into the thing, I stand up and walk out, and I'm like, "You're no help to me," And then there was that one time that they sent me to a therapist who was 29 and had this incredibly great set of tits. And I just couldn't concentrate. I'm like, this is not going to work.
This is not going to work. I'm spending all of my time staring at what you really have to offer.
I'm looking at high beams here, baby.
And another thing, too, they don't talk about the data sampling here. These could be college dudes.
Yeah.
So, of course, more of them are going to identify as feminist, and they're going to be surrounded by chicks who are completely, brain scrubbed in every fold with wire brushes, soaked in bleach and laid out to dry. Stupid feminists.
Yep.
So that's going to be the only option on the table. And they think they have to identify that way in order to get a crack at the poon in the first place.
Well, there's a lot of guys that are in college that are agreeing with that because they want to fucking pass.
Yeah, and not only that, we know from experience, from actual research and studies, that even outwardly feminist women prefer sexist, chauvinist men.
And a lot of them like to work for men.
Yes, but a dude who grovels at her feet because that's what, his gender studies professor told him he should do because he has privilege and he should, you gotta do what you can to help the Wahmen.
I'm sorry.
Not gonna happen. You are gonna get left at the bus stop in the rain with nothing but a ticket out of town and your dick in your hand.
That's right. Done!
Seriously, I will show you a social media post proving it.
If you want the best from a woman, give the best to a woman. Never allow her to touch a doorknob. Cook for her, tell her she's beautiful, care for her, trust her, be loyal to her, and never lie to her. Let what you do for her be your reward. You act so spoiled and selfish. Or shellfish, as he spelled it.
Wow.
And then a chick, with a rather nice rack from the looks of her, responds,
and when you're done, make sure you also wipe your vagina, because clearly you're a woman.
Oh my God.
Boom!
Wow.
He got burned and turned by the same
Dude.
kind of chicks he was trying to kiss up to. This is what happens.
He got handled.
Yeah, when you actually go out there and act like one of these male feminists, that's why most of these guys wind up in shackles, because that's the only way they actually get a crack at the poon once college ends.
Talking about the data...
Don't you love how it's, believe men when it fits the narrative, but the rest of the time,
fuck 'em.
Men are evil, you have male privilege, your opinion doesn't count, especially if you're white?
One of the researchers said on theconversation.com, taking a look at how recently men engage in certain acts,
okay,
like
getting pegged by one of their girlfriend's dishwasher
God.
safe boyfriends, maybe. Certain acts.
We found feminist men had more frisky time than non-feminist men. Specifically, feminist men reported having intercourse and both performing and receiving oral with women partners more recently than non-feminist men.
And I'm sure that they were totally telling the truth. Just like, climate change enthusiasts, they're the ones most likely to recycle, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
But anybody who is out there
up.
screaming and hemming and hawing and trying to tell everybody what a great person they are is anything but.
It's
so
a
if you
lying sack of shit.
Yes. If you have to loudly proclaim that you're all about the equal rights for the women's you're probably the biggest misogynists of all.
No! But it's not even equal opportunity. They want equal...
No, they want equity.
They want equal outcome. They want this equity thing.
Yep.
That means they want
Socialism.
free shit without fucking earning it or working for it.
Socialism!
That's exactly what that is.
They want to basically repay the productive areas of society.
Yep.
But I thought it was my body, my choice.
Yeah. Rules for thee and none for me.
While feminist men reported giving oral to their partners more recently, they also engaged in intercourse and received oral more recently than non-feminist men, suggesting they do not sacrifice their own pleasure. Bullshit.
What? This article is so stupid.
Wow.
I don't believe it at all.
You're never going to convince me that feminist women get down on their knees and literally worship the pole of patriarchy more frequently.
No, they don't.
Than women who know that this is a bunch of crap.
Instead, we believe feminist men continue to benefit from traditional approaches to frisky time that emphasize acts pleasurable for men.
But don't worry about giving up your dignity because you're totally gonna get laid.
Yeah, that is too expensive for me. I can never... Listen.
Wow.
When I get to the end of my days, and I'm laying there in my deathbed, right?
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm going to have left is my self-respect and dignity. Once you give that up, it's well, it's not impossible, but it's very hard to get it back.
You're not convincing anybody with this shit.
Nope.
Not in a million years. They are literally trying to entice men to give up their dignity and self-respect for a crack at the bone.
And their so-called privilege and power.
But young dudes, especially if you're in your 20s, they don't need help giving up dignity for a crack at the bone. They do it all the time.
All the time. do you think happens? Like, they go to the bar and they get 36 turndowns to 1 yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole lot of, dignity that's going up in smoke right there.
Uh-huh. But if you are successful with something like this, you know what you're going to create? Legions of men that women are going to cheat on.
Let me tell you, man, all that bullshit my feminist mother told me when I was growing up, man, it was nothing but lies.
Lies. And it's only when you let go of that and you say, screw it, that all of a sudden you get more poon than you know what to do with.
Well, it's, the thing is once you realize that what female nature is, it changes the game.
Yeah, it's just like poker. In poker, you never play your hand. You play the person across from you.
That's right.
I was not born with the greatest hand. I know exactly what I look like. I am nothing special. I am not over 6 feet tall. I do not have six-pack abs anymore. But I had a cool sense of humor and a cool job. And more importantly, when I went out into the dating world at 26 after my horse chick left, I did not give a shit about their approval.
One thing that makes women super hot is a man with options.
Yes. If it is painfully obvious to them that you don't care whether they stay or go, they want to stay.
I'm going to have to say that is fairly correct.
Anything that is given away freely is worth nothing.
It's not valued.
And that is why you have stories like there was this one dude who actually agreed to let his wife's lover pose in their wedding pictures because cheating on me is just part of her identity.
Wait, when was this?
A couple of years ago, 2019, I want to say.
Why are we not talking about this cuck bag?
Well, we are now.
Oh my God.
But that is...
Are you fucking serious?
Yes, that is what these people are trying to push for.
They want a weak-ass man to pay the bills.
Yes.
And then they're going to go find an alpha to procreate with. And these betas are stuck holding the bag.
They want a dude who is going to finance a lifestyle that has nothing to do with him other than his name is on all of the agreements when the debt comes home to roost.
Yeah, and when she decides to leave, she takes half a shit.
But you'll totally get more poon if you identify as a feminist. If she gives you a crack at it twice a week, that's about the statistical average for 500 miles of Mr. Right, right? Okay, people in so-called committed relationships or what have you, that is what the typical norm is. So if you get a crack at it twice a week, you think you're doing great. You think you're doing better than everybody else. But the other 5 days a week, she's got 5 other dudes adding to that DNA stew.
Oh.
And you're just stirring it.
Stop!
Oh, this is interesting. This could be another episode in and of itself.
Okay.
The news comes as it was recently revealed many Brits have turned to virtual frisky time parties in lockdowns as they're randier than ever. Despite the fear and anxiety caused by the pandemic, recent research found that 39% of people are hornier than ever, with many paying to attend Zoom orgies online.
What the?
What?
What? What kind of weak-ass men are doing that?
You're gonna pay to watch other people bone on their webcam?
I'm at a loss here. I mean...
I am too.
Yeah, I mean, this just proves that the men of this country and the Western world are being brainwashed into being cucks.
You can tell that the left is losing this culture war because they have to create BS like this under the nomer of research. Because we know it's not true. This reeks not only of propaganda, but desperation.
Yeah, I would say it's both.
Women want easily manipulated men so they can feel like they're in control. That is not equality. That is tyranny.
Domination.
Narcissism. Mm-hmm. And it's also a little sadistic.
Like when I was taking my 7 years off, there's a lot of times that I would talk to these women and I'd run into, and they're all into it. And I'm like, listen, I'm not into you.
Yep.
I really don't care if you stay or go. You want to hang out, that's fine. But I'm not hanging my head on this on this whole bullshit.
I put my head in that guillotine once. I think I'm good.
And they get all mad, like, what? What do you mean? I'm like, listen, I know how these things work. I've been to the meat grinder a few times, and
if you tell them any little bit of your story, they all have the same excuse. What is it?
Well, I'm different.
Not all women are like that.
That's right.
We made a whole video about it. Links in the description.
Statistically speaking, they're correct.
Statistically speaking, there's always outliers.
But the thing is, in today's day and age, with the laws that are on the books and the way our culture is, it is too fucking dangerous for men to go look for that one needle in the haystack who's not like that.
And if you go all in and you bet wrong, it's never been more expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still paying out the nose.
They used to understand that men have the upper hand in this dating market. We still do.
That's right, because we decide who we marry.
Exactly. But they've convinced a sizable chunk of the male population that the reverse is true. They've convinced them that sex is the ultimate. And women want it that way because they are the gatekeepers to that.
Yes, they are.
But at the end of the day, sex doesn't get you commitment.
No.
It gets your foot in the door.
Mowing the grass does not get you laid, gentlemen.
Nope.
Remember that.
Bottom line, if you honestly think that going around and proclaiming yourself to be some pillar of tolerance and equality is going to get you more poon, you are wronger than two boys fornicating in church using a crucifix as a butt plug.
Priest doing CPR on the top guy's ass.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Nah.
And if it does happen, it's not going to be the kind of women that other men will actually want. So
Correct.
The only person you're going to be bragging about it to is your reflection.
You know how many guys I knew in the military who had just the ugliest wives? They were just, it was pathetic. And then I'm like,
Oh, at least I'm getting laid.
I'm just like, oh my God, who would want this woman? Jesus.
So, you get more than me, huh? But they look like this?
Hey, you can have them.
I think I'm good. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to play video games. I'm actually, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to write books. I'm going to make online content that's going to help dudes, keep from starting shotguns. I'm going to actually do something with my life. And then the kind of people who will want to be in my company are going to be the kind of women I can brag about.
That's right.
So if you actually believe this study, do us all a favor. Suck it, baby!